Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. Hope you're doing well today. It's kind of a late lunch type show today, but that's okay. Anyway, I want to talk about requirements follow up. You could tell people the requirements till you're blue in the face, but don't be surprised if you don't have to do a lot of follow up. But I'm going to talk through my experiences of developing some requirements for the school, how that also applies for your teams and what you're writing. And a reminder, last night we had our meetup. It was really good. Rob Jackson presented. It's already posted up on YouTube if you want to see that. I'm going to send out more video links and a podcast later today, kind of in place of the Thursday night interview program, just because social media gets all crammed up when you try to put too much stuff in one day or within 2 days, and they don't like it. So I will post that up later tonight. And one other piece of news, we are going to start the mastermind up. Rob wanted to do it, so we're going to do it. He's like, we need to do it. So I'm going to get ready for the third quarter for the mastermind set up, invite everyone to do it. That's going to start on July 20th. I'm going to have two webinars, just throwing this out there. June 29th and July 13th, there'll be two webinars out there. I will send information and posts as they get closer to invite people to webinars about getting goals. More to come on that information. But again, last time we did our meetup, it was really good. You're always invited to reach out to me if you want to be in the meetup or present a topic or whatever. We got different people coming on board little by little. And if you want to practice, it's always a good thing. So I want to encourage everyone out there. And with that, let's get right into business here. This 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach. And here we talk about Scrum and Agile in a very practical and tactical way. So you don't have to work so hours and have a little fun. Today is for our Thursday. Requirements, reviews, retros, and roles. Today we're going to talk about requirements because just reflecting on some of the things I did with school, the kids, and closing out the year. And it was all about requirements, right? And there's so many times I've done this in the past. A lot of times business analysts or anybody writes down requirements. Here's what you need to do to get this, or here's what you need to complete this, or here we all agreed on this requirement. Well, it would be nice in this world if you only had to say it once. But I'm going to say you probably have to follow up a few times with those requirements. And I'll give you a scenario with the school, and then I'm going to give you a scenario with work in general. So with the school, I had developed these requirements that for all the students to get good grades. What each grade, I gave requirements, boom, boom, boom. And I shared that with the students. Verbally did it at first, and then I did it in writing, right? So I had it written, shared it with them, did it again, emailed all those requirements to students. Still getting some issues, some kids not doing work and not doing the homeworks or whatever. And I'm like, why don't you want to do this? You know the requirements. And I would sit down in the class and repeat the requirements pretty much almost every time because we didn't meet very often. And that's also one of the things. If you don't meet very often with the people who you're working with who are going to use the requirements, then you really might have to go over them a few times, right? So then I did that. Still, then I got some complaints from some parents. Well, I didn't know what these requirements were and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay. So I did this. Wrote the requirements down. I put a little cover sheet. I put the signature for both the students and the parents. And I had all the kids take this document with a copy of what a homework assignment should look like to home to get them to sign. Even with that, I still got parents to complain that they didn't know things. I'm like, you signed the document. I made everything set up so it was on a shared drive for each student, and that parents could go do it. So, which is okay, and I appreciate the parents following up on it, and that parents maybe the students got a they did a in process review or something. They got a report on, and like, why is they getting this? And explain it because they didn't do this or didn't do that. But what I'm getting at is that I had to do it even though it was written down, even though I had people sign it, I still had to explain it again to a few people and parents and students. And even that, I had to devise special time towards the end of the semester so the kids could get good grades. And I reserved this. Said anybody wants, we're going to take this time in this class to catch up. For anybody who wants to catch up, or the other ones that are already caught up can go play video games. It's fine. So I did all that stuff. So the requirements needed follow-up. So don't be surprised you don't have to follow up. Now, that was a school example, and maybe grades and all is not that. One of the things when I did the FAT and ENF LRIP contract, I had a lot of requirements. There were some pages and pages of requirements. I had to follow up individually with every one of the people that still had requirements that weren't agreed to, finished, nor signed off on. And I had to do the follow-up. Now, one of the things I see in a lot of Agile teams will write a JIRA ticket or a requirement or a rally ticket, whatever system they have. They'll write the tickets, or maybe they put some stuff in Confluence. Maybe everyone looked at it. But then it might be a while before they actually do the work. Don't be surprised. You don't have to follow up and see if their processes and what they're doing has changed since you've written the requirements. Now, you don't want to go too crazy, because then we're going to spend all day writing requirements, or back to waterfall, taking 2 years to write requirements, and we never produce anything, which we don't want to do, right? So don't be surprised. And actually, I would just incorporate it into what I do is when I write a requirement down and I know the team's going to build them, I will reach back to the stakeholder which I got the requirements from and kind of confirm we still in a good spot. Don't leave it up for chance, because that stakeholder may have changed something since they first drafted those requirements. And I see some requirements that may be a year old. Oh my God, they're so old. Things have changed, how they operate, what they do. But even, I would say, even a month old. Sometimes, like when I do marketing and sales, I hone my process down every time I do it. I said, well, that didn't work, so I'm going to change it this. Or this wasn't a good experience, so I'm going to change that. So you learn all these things and you're modifying them. So maybe when the team actually does get a chance to actually work it, some things have changed. So save yourself a lot of heartburn and a lot of money for the company, by the way. Because if you got a team of, let's say, 10, I like using 10 because it's a round number. Let's say we had 10 developers and testers. They built something to a requirement, but something changed. So now you're going to go back and reopen all that and make the change. So why not take the extra time as a business analyst or product owner to confirm before they start coding? So you got to follow. So your job is not done. Once you write the requirement, you put it in a JIRA ticket. That's not when your job's done. You need to follow up with your stakeholder or whoever gave you the information. Just confirm for one, this is what I got. We still in a good spot. Boom. Let's make it good. So I want to remind you, you still got to follow up. You may think you had to, like I thought, what else I got to do? I had to follow up so many different levels, right? And I'll add one little nugget here. Even though you have the perfect requirements, a lot of people sign those documents, right? They sign it, like the teachers and the students signed it, but they didn't do it, right? And I'm going to put a little thing, and I mentioned this in a previous show. Oh, by the way, this is our 1200 episode of this show. It's pretty good. I was like, wow, I'm talking about 1200 now. Talked about where our system engineer team, they would demonstrate or do a sprint review or close a sprint out, and the product owner would sign off on the thing. However, the product owner never used the software. So yes, they were signing off on, yeah, it's done. Okay, good. But they personally never used the software. So they never really understood how it was used. So even though you have people sign off on stuff, they're still going to come back and say, well, that's not what I wanted. You got to make sure they use it. They got to make sure you witness it and do it sometimes, because you're going to have those product owners out there that no matter what you do, they're going to say, I didn't know. They're going to say it. They didn't understand. Just like the students and the parents when I was doing my grades, they didn't understand. They didn't know. Don't be upset that you have to go to the extra level of detail. it's just going to happen, right? So don't get all upset about it. Just do it. Just assume you're going to have to do a follow up on your requirements, even though you wrote it up. And I just wanted to share that I was going through my phone, all the things from the school year and end of the year and all the grades, and it got really crazy. But I got all these little notes that I learned from school, and I wanted to apply that to what you do in your business as a team in Agile and Scrum. When you do write these requirements down, don't be surprised you don't have to do a couple follow-ups along the way. You follow up, make sure the requirements ready when you first write them. You follow up just before the team starts working on them, and then you follow up during the review to make sure they actually operate the software and confirm, even though they signed off on it as approved, that they actually saw the software. And you may want to record that adventure. By the way, here's the recording of you operating the software that it was okay and you said it was good. you know some people may not want to say I didn't like it or something was wrong. There's a lot of fear factor out there that goes along. They don't want to look good and they don't want to be bearer of bad news, right? So I wanted to share that with you. Hope it wasn't a downer. Again, tonight I'm going to be reposting up the meetup stuff from last night with Rob. And if you join our mailing list, and if you're a member of the group and I have your email, I will be emailing his pitch and his list of tools that he used as part of that to make sure I try to get out to everyone who signed up for the opportunity. Anyway, I want to wish you the best. Don't forget, in July, we're going to start our mastermind group. If you're thinking about it, interested, send me a message. We'll talk about it. If you're curious about it, I can always talk about it and whether or not you want to do it or not. So with that, I say, have a great day. I wish you the best. We'll see you tomorrow on Fun Friday. Maybe we can do a fortune cookie. Be 1201th episode. And don't forget to like and share the podcasts out there when these go out. It helps us, and share it with your friends. Take a view if you can. Listen to the podcast maybe while you're working out or something like that. And again, have an awesome day. And thanks, Rob, for presenting last night. And don't forget, we're always open for other people to present. So please join us. We're not that crazy. Maybe I am, but I don't know about everyone else. It's pretty a good group. Take care, everyone, and see you tomorrow. Bye.